Hey guys and gals, it's Mike White with Baby Monkey Studios and Xcart Guru. And I've got another tutorial for you. This time it's about how to use the Xcart admin backend. So, it's just about navigating through the admin, setting up categories, setting up products, looking at orders. I'm going to cover everything that I can think about for each page. It's not going to be very structured. It's just going to be a kind of view of the back end and how to get around and perform some basic functions and tasks that you might have as an Xcart admin. So not aimed at developers here, aimed at merchants and how to use their Xcart Classic. And I just want to say, we have Xcart 5 now. This is Xcart Classic, so the Xcart 4 series, it doesn't really apply at all to 5, though they have some similarities, but it's mostly for Xcart 4. So here we are looking at an Xcart site, and the store is closed. It's not available to the public yet. So to do anything or access anything, we have to visit the admin. And just for you that don't know, right after the URL, so if Xcart is installed right at the root of your site, then you would just enter admin and hit enter, and you get to the admin. Of course, I'm already logged in, but you should be presented with a login screen if you're not logged in currently. So here's your soon-to-be familiar admin interface. And, the first thing we have is dashboard. That just takes you to this page. Then we have orders. And I think we should get to that in a second because first we have to have a catalog full of products and categories in order to get some orders. So I think the first thing that you want to do, you may have manufacturers. So manufacturers might be the starting point. If you want to create manufacturers and set those up in your store and you want to assign products to manufacturers, then I encourage you to first set up manufacturers. I guess we'll take a look at that. And it's pretty intuitive. To add a new manufacturer, you just click Add New. It takes you to the manufacturer page, and you can just set up, some manufacturer. Well, let's use Lexmark. I've been working for a client that has Lexmark printers, and we'll just use Lexmark as the manufacturer. The next field you have here is clean URL. The clean URL is exactly what it sounds like. It's the URL that they're going to visit the store from the front side. So, if your domain address is readingoptical.com and I put Lexmark as the clean URL, which it automatically populates, as you can see, it just copies what's in the manufacturer name down to the clean URL field. Then you would actually access this new manufacturer's page at readingoptical.com/Lexmark. So that's what the clean URL is. In fact, it may be actually lexmark.html. Let's test that out real quick. Changing the image, it's just as simple as clicking change image. You can file on this server. That's if you've uploaded images into the files section of the server. That's not how most people are going to do it. They're either going to use the choose file, and you choose a file from your local computer. Okay, so you just get a familiar dialog box, and here I have a Lexmark logo that I just went and quickly downloaded. And we'll just hit apply, and it pops it into its little spot here. Now I can enter a description for the manufacturer. I can place a URL. So if I have the URL of the manufacturer, like http://lexmark.com, I'd put that there. Now let's talk about title tag, meta keywords, meta description. You're going to see these fields on many pages that you create in Xcart. The title tag is actually, it's off the screen. The title tag goes up here. It's useful for SEO purposes. It really is. But where it shows up on a browser is just right across the top of your tab there. Here I have the title tag of this page. Obviously, is Loop Lab manufacturers, and so the title tag in this case, I would probably put Lexmark. It's not really genius. Unless you have like some SEO purposes that you want to be more specific, you want to say, Lexmark digital printers or something like that. Meta keywords, that used to be real important. It's another SEO thing. It's supposed to tell Google what keywords you want to rank for this page, and I think it's still important to fill this stuff out. And you would just put a comma separated list, Lexmark, comma, the next value, printers, comma, that kind of thing. But these days, it's not really that important. I mean, it just doesn't hold the weight that other SEO indicators do. Title tag is really important. The clean URL is really important. But the meta keywords, it's just stopped being as important these days. I still would fill them out. Meta description, that is supposedly the part that you'll see a link on Google, and then you'll see a short synopsis of what the page is about. That's it. So you could put a brief description. I'd keep it to 20 or 30 words in the meta description. And then position, the POS field, we often see it abbreviated. It stands for position there. And it would be the position of this manufacturer in a list of manufacturers. So if you had 10 different manufacturers, what position do you want it to show up? And then availability is just whether this manufacturer is enabled, and then lets you set up manufacturers that you're not necessarily going to use, and just without deleting the manufacturer, you can just turn off its availability and it'll stop showing up on the front side. Okay, I think I need to back up to the image one last time. The other way that you can get an image into Xcart is you can have the URL. So here's where I got the Lexmark logo, and I can just copy that entire link, and I can click change image. Well, I guess I'll hit reset first so that it takes the image out of there. It's the same image, and you can just plug in the URL, and Xcart will actually go out and get a copy of that image without you having to upload it. So those are the two main ways you're going to upload images unless you're doing it in bulk. Okay, and then you hit apply changes. And we have created a manufacturer. So now if we go back to catalog manufacturers, we've got Lexmark. And it also should show up on the front side. And even more importantly now, when we're creating products, we can assign the product to the manufacturer. Okay, so, categories is probably even more important than manufacturers. Everybody's going to have categories. Just some of you are going to actually have manufacturers. But I started with manufacturers because that's kind of a top level thing. And you can set up your manufacturers. Then you would set up your categories. Okay, so categories. This site has several categories already set up. And you can see, how many products are in the category. If it has subcategories, at least this one doesn't. It says NA. We can enable them and we can disable them just like the manufacturers. And then we have the position or the order that these categories will be displayed in any kind of list. So the order will control the display of the list here, but also on the front side. So, you want your top category to be with the lowest position number and your last category to have the highest. And you can make changes right here to position and enabled, and then you can just group update them by clicking this button right here. Or you can select one and click modify selected. That's one way to get in and start modifying a category. Or we can add new. So we want to add a new category. We just click add new. And we can also get into the category and start modifying it by just clicking the category name and then clicking category details. We also have category products, and you can imagine that's going to pull up a list of the products in that category. Let's go back up here to the root level because I want to talk about featured products. Featured products are designed to show up on the home page, and your site may or may not, your skin may take use of featured products, but featured products is a way for you to add products to this particular category that you want to show up at the bottom, in the products list. Depending on your skin, I said at the bottom, it's usually at the bottom of the page, but just depending on your skin where it places the products, that's how you add featured products to a category. So you can have multiple products in a category, and then you can have some featured products. These are the featured products on the actual home page. And just like you'd imagine, you hit browse, you go to a category, you hit show products, you find an item, you select it, and you can assign it a position and whether it's active, and then you hit add new, and that adds a featured product. Okay, so let's go in and look at modifying a category. So I'm just going to select one with the radio button up here and click modify selected. All right, and I get into the category administration page. So this is like the page that has everything to do with this category. It doesn't control the products in this category, but what it does do is it controls the image for the category, name of the category, the position. Look, I mean, it's the same thing. Changing the image, it's the same way. You click change image, you choose a file, it's the same image selection. Maybe this is the Lexmark category, and I could use my Lexmark logo again. I'm just going to cancel out of that. And here's the position. It's the same positioning as I talked about with the manufacturer. We have the category name. Then we have the clean URL. It's all the same stuff. We have an extra little box to save the old value in the clean URL history. I just want to talk about that for a second. If you have a category and it was previously named, it was named Lexmark, and then you wanted to change it to Lexmark printers, well, you have a little problem there because Google has probably indexed Lexmark as being the name of the category thus far, and so you want that page to redirect to the new URL. You don't want to ever let a URL go dead on your website. So the way you deal with that is you save the old value in the clean URL history. So, if I change this and I have this box checked, it'll actually save the value down here at the very bottom. You can see the clean URL history down here for this category used to be books. So in this case, I actually don't want books to point to this category, and this is a site in development. So I'm just going to check that box and delete that clean URL history. And now books will not redirect back to this category. But if I left it there, then books and whatever the name of it is, TTL loops, would have directed to both of those URLs, would have redirected to this category. And you might run into a situation where you're trying to name a product page or a category page, some clean URL, and it'll say, oh, this clean URL value is already in use. Well, it may be that another category or another manufacturer already has that clean URL. And as you can imagine, they can't have the same URL because how can they have the same page on the web as another page? But, if it does have it, even if you've looked through all your categories and your manufacturers and your products and none of them have that clean URL set, it could be that it's saved in the history. And that is actually a common problem that I've had people run into. Okay, so the first bit here is the description. And the description, you have a default editor and you have a what you see is what you get editor. This is the category's description. So it really depends on your skin. But for a lot of skins, you'll see the category description at the top of the category page. It can really be used in many different ways. I've actually customized this site and I've added this banner section. And that's just something for this particular client. It doesn't really have anything to do with most people, but for them, they can add. They have two descriptions. They have one description that shows up in a menu up at the top, and then they have this banner which actually sort of takes the place of the normal description in the custom skin that I'm building for them. All right. Now, membership. If you have different membership levels and you want to restrict an entire category from being seen by anyone without a particular membership, so all is the default, all meaning all users, even non-logged in users. Now, if you want to restrict a particular category to like your premium users or whatever other membership level you can imagine that you want to define, then you can just click this, one of these. You can select multiple. I want this premium and wholesale and or just all. And, that will restrict only to logged in users that actually can see that category. So maybe you have some wholesale clients and you have some special pricing on certain products. You only sell wholesale bulk items, that kind of thing. And you want to just let only your wholesale customers that are logged in have access to that category. That's where you would use that membership field. Okay, availability. Well, that's pretty simple. It's just enabled or disabled. I think we can only have those two options, enabled or disabled. And again, title tag, we know what that is. That controls the tag up here. Meta keywords, this is all mainly SEO stuff. And then there's the meta description. and you can put some content in here. There's a checkbox here. Use the metadata and title tag of this category for all subcategories and products contained in this category. This is only if the subcategories and the products don't have any values for themselves. So, keeping that checked is good. It does ensure that every subcategory and every product that's inside this category will have some kind of metadata, but in general, you don't want to have the same title tag on multiple pages. You really want to get in there and customize your title tags to be, specific to that product or that category. So, keeping this checked is fine. It's not hurting anything, but I'm just trying to encourage you to, make sure that you actually put title tags at least for your other subcategories in your products. Now here we have the category location. Okay, so here we can assign. This is how you can move a category under another. So it's this one's a root level category, but say I wanted to move this underneath another category, then I would just select it here and hit update, and it would become a subcategory of whatever I selected there. I guess I don't want to mess up and forget to say apply changes. This is really nice. Once you've actually made a change above, and we've been clicking around making changes, then you'll get an apply changes button that hovers up here, and that's really nice because it helps you remember you haven't saved anything until you actually apply changes. And in this case, I actually don't want to update anything. Well, maybe this. I don't know why. This my meta content. I'll just go ahead and apply changes, and we will have saved our changes for this category. Okay, the next thing I have on my little list is how to upload products. Okay, so you can definitely upload products with an import-export method, and I don't really want to go over that, but I'm going to show you how to create products. Importing and exporting is kind of a tricky thing that you have to practice a few times before you'll be able to bulk upload products. But as far as making products, I'm going to show you how to do that right here in the back side. We go to catalog, we go to products, and we get presented with this search. And, I'll spend a little bit of time talking about that. Search for a pattern. You can obviously just plug in anything you can think of here. I know we have a binary mom t-shirt. And I'm just going to search for that. And there I got my binary mom t-shirt. And I can also just, refine my search. Where do I want to search in the description and the keywords? It's really a nice search engine here. Search and modify will take me directly to the actual modify screen for the first result of my search. And then I can go in and do more search options. So, here we're just diving into very specific. I can search based on manufacturer. I can search in subcategories. I can plug a SKU number in, the product ID if I know what that is, price ranges, quantity. It really drives it all the way down in here. But I do want to mention this. If you have customized the search, it might screw you up later on. Just by customize, you've made some selections here and you've searched. Xcart remembers those search parameters, which helps you, but it can screw you up if you come back and you search for something that exists. Well, maybe you've selected something and it needs to be reset. So you can just use this reset button, and that'll clear out all your changes back to default. And then when you click search, it'll search for everything. If you don't plug anything in here, let me show you that. You just click search without, with the filter reset, it'll just show you every single product you have. Here we have 14 results in this particular store. Okay, so what about modifying a product? Let's look at that first. So I believe we can just check one here, and we can do modify selected. It's even easier just to actually click on the product's name or the SKU number, and it'll take you to the actual product page where you can modify the product. Okay, so again, we have images. That's the first thing. This is the main product image that shows on the product page. Thumbnails, some skins use some thumbnails and some do not. For the most part, though, you're going to have, the thumbnail used on the category pages where you have a list of products, and you're going to have the main product image used on the actual product page. So we have a little more controls here. It's still the same interface, change image. choose file, upload the image, same process there. But we also can generate a thumbnail. So obviously you have to have uploaded the first image, and then you can click generate thumbnail. One thing that's nice about this little section, once you've made a change, you get a little product images will be saved after you click on save. This also will happen if you go down and hit apply changes at the bottom of this page. That will save the image as well. But this is just a shortcut. If you're just working on images, then you can just save, reset thumbnail, delete thumbnail. This is all pretty standard stuff. I think you can understand what that means. Delete image, that would remove the image from the category. Okay. Now let's talk about the rest of the page. Product owner. This is the provider of the product. This is whoever created the product in the very first place. Some of you might have multi-vendor or platinum editions of Xcart where you have multiple providers that provide products, and I'm not going to cover that. That's if your store is like a mall. But for the most part, in standard Xcart Gold or Gold Plus installations, provider doesn't really matter. So it doesn't matter. The customer never sees who the provider is. Providers can get notified when a product sells, but I just don't see that being used very often. In this case, it says Mr. White Mike, which is me, and that is because I actually installed this copy of Xcart, and I am the primary administrator because I started the installation. And that's why all the products are set to me right now. Now, if another administrator logged in and created the product, then they would be the provider. But again, all administrators in a standard installation can modify all products. So who the provider is doesn't really matter. All right, the classification section. So here's the main category where this product belongs. So if you're selling men's shoes, then and this goes in the men's shoes category. That's the main category that it belongs in. Now you could also have it go in the shoes category. So you might have a category that has all your shoes, and that's the additional category. So this can be selected, and then you can control click the other categories. So you can have it in every category that you have by just holding down control, command key on a Mac, and just clicking which additional categories you'd like this to set up. But you don't need additional categories necessarily. You just assign it to its main category, and it needs a category, so it has to be in one category or another. And then you can select additional categories. Okay, so the manufacturer for this is Lexmark, because that's the only manufacturer I have, or I can tell it manufacturer not specified, and that will make it go away. So that's how you classify a product to a manufacturer. Availability. So we have 3 different options. Available for sale. That's the standard one. You want your product available for sale. It can be hidden but available for sale. This is very convenient for when you might be, building a new product and you're not quite ready for it to be in your catalog, but you want to be able to look at it on the front side of the cart and kind of see how your description, how your images are working. Then you would mark it hidden but available for sale, because that would allow you to actually go and visit the product page on the front side, on the customer side of Xcart. But it wouldn't show up in the normal catalog. So it wouldn't be showing up, and customers wouldn't be stumbling upon it until it was ready. It also might be, if you have a special product that you only want to send certain people the link to, you could set it as hidden but available for sale, and then the only people that you direct to that link would actually be able to find it. Disabled obviously means disabled. Now, how do you find the product on the front side? Well, here's the product URL. So the URL is actually, fully spelled out here, and there's a nice link where you can just open it in a new tab and visit the front side. Oh, well, my store is closed. I guess I should talk about that for just a second. If your storefront is closed, nobody can access it except those that have the shop key. Okay, so if you want to get to the front side of your store, you go up here to your storefront closed, and you click Access Store via private link. Oh, excuse me, phone's ringing. Sorry about that. That was National Geographic. They want to send me a free calendar. Oh, well. All right, let's get back to it. So if you want to access your store while it's closed, then you just have to follow this private link. And so this is going to add the shop key I'm going to open this in a new tab. I know I'm diverging here, but I just want to show you how this works. So now it's opened up the front of the store with the shop key already plugged in. And that's really helpful. You can actually do this yourself. You can just visit the front of your store and put a question mark, shop key, and then whatever your shop key is. And I guess I shouldn't mention that without saying you can set the shop key under general settings in the admin. But now that I've visited it once, it's stored in my session. And so I can actually follow other links to the front of the store without the shop key. And it'll still work just for me, just in the browser session that I have. Okay, and there you can see the product page for this particular product. All right. Now, we're moving on down. We've gone past the URL, the SKU number. So this is the SKU. Some people use this for like the universal product code or UPC of the product. Some people just make up SKUs. I don't believe it absolutely has to have a SKU, so you could actually remove it, but I don't recommend it. I would just make up some SKUs. If you don't have a SKU system already, plug something in there that makes sense to you. If this is a Lexmark printer, then I'm going to make it Lex001, just to seem professional to my customers. All right, the product name, that is a required field. And, that's pretty self-explanatory. You don't want to put any special characters, really. I think it will support some special characters, but as a programmer, I don't like special characters in fields. I try to avoid them as much as possible. You can put spaces in this field. The next one is clean URL, which we've already discussed, and we have the checkbox to save the old value in the history. I guess I should mention the clean URL does have a particular format. It does absolutely have to not have spaces. And in general, you can use dashes or underscores instead of spaces, but dashes are the preferred SEO method from what I've heard. Google respects dashes over underscores, so that's what I would use. And there's a note here that explains all that stuff. All right, search keywords. Search keywords are the actual search keywords that your customers might type into your search box on the front side of your store looking for a particular product. So, I do like to fill these out, and I'll even put misspellings in there sometimes. So, if there's a common misspelling for the name of the product, that's what I'd put in the search keywords. And again, it's a comma-separated list. And just a little pro tip, I guess, is, once you fill in your search keywords, it's a good idea to just go ahead and highlight them all and plug them right down here in your meta keywords. Why not? You've already filled out the search keywords. Just plug them into the meta keywords, the same ones, unless you're fine-tuning your SEO, and then you have your own kind of ideas of what to put there. You don't have to put the detailed description, but you do have to put the short description. And as it sounds, it's a short description. Different templates make use of the short description in different ways. You might see the short description on the category page. Your template might never use the short description. A lot of the default templates actually will check to see if there is a detailed description. And if there is, on the product page, it will show the detailed description. And if there's not, then it will actually pull from the short description. So you do have to have something in there. If you don't know what to put, just put the name of the product again. But I would put a paragraph, 20 or 30 words about the product. Now, the detailed description is where you can really go to town. You can use the what you see is what you get editor. I'm not a fan of what you see is what you get editors. It does give you a nice little interface where you can bold things, and you can select text, and you can place links. You can use italics and underline things and all that good stuff. I'd rather you learn some basic HTML and be able to, set up divs and p tags, and, be able to, just some real basic stuff like an unordered list. I mean, everybody that's working on the web should really have some basic understanding of that stuff. And the reason I would prefer to do that rather than use the WYSIWYG editor is just because WYSIWYG editors in general kind of add a bunch of junk. I don't know what else to call it, but it just seems to junk up your HTML, and it's so much cleaner when a human being has taken a look at the HTML and put the tags right where they want them to be. You don't have to use any tags. I mean, your detailed description doesn't have to be an HTML description. It can just be plain text. And I think Xcart, with most templates, will actually, insert some p tags and sort of give you a little bit of formatting if it does detect plain text in this box. But most of us are going to use some HTML. HTML is a very easy language to learn, and I encourage you to learn it. All right, so title tag, meta keywords, meta description. Boy, we've seen those boxes a lot. We know what to put there. Price. All right, price is important. The price of the product. Then the list price. The list price may or may not show up in your template, but you can set the price to be, whatever your actual price that you want to sell this for. And then the list price is the market price. It's the price that other people sell it for. So, if you're a wholesaler and you want to sell, you want to inform like your retailers that are purchasing from you of what the MSRP or the manufacturer suggested retail price, that's what you would put here. Here in the United States, that's what we call it as the MSRP. So we have list price, market price, MSRP. Those are all the same things. These are the prices that maybe your competitors are selling the same product for. So you want to show we're cheaper. We put the list price here. So always the list price should probably be higher than the regular price. Or maybe you seem like you're more expensive. I don't think Xcart will even display the list price if it's high. If this is not higher than the actual price, it just won't display it at all. All right, quantity in stock. That's how many items are in stock. So, sometimes this field won't be even active if you're using variants, and I'm probably skipping ahead of myself there. But, the quantity in stock is the number of items that are in stock for this product. And the low limit in stock is actually when you want to be notified, and that's only if you have the notifications enabled. It's like when you want to be warned that, hey, we're getting low on this product. So, with certain products, you might need to know when you've got only 100 left. You might need to get a notification, and Xcart will actually send you an email and say, hey, you're almost out of this product. But on certain products, it might just be 10 or even just 2 left that you want to get notified on, and that's where you set that setting. Minimum order quantity. Okay, this is always a positive number, and you can set it where they have to buy 10 of this at a time. I think that's a little confusing for customers, but it's there. It's a setting that you can do. So you can set this where they have to buy, 5. You can't just buy 1 of this. You have to buy 5. So by default, it's set to 1. And then the product return time. This has to do with like the whole return merchandise authorization thing. It's how many days after the sale that they can return the product. Okay, so here's some custom things that I've done for a client. We have prescription product because we're selling glasses, and we want to be able to say, okay, yes, this is a prescription product. That doesn't apply to everybody, but it's just an example of the type of customizations that we do. Now we have the weight. Okay, so the weight is very self-explanatory. It's set in pounds. You can have different units of measure there, and you can kind of make some settings in the admin to change that from pounds. But by default, it's in pounds, and you can accept. You can put 0.1 pound. You don't have to put a whole pound, obviously. And this is something that the shipping calculation is going to be based off of. And on some templates, it will actually show the weight right on the product page to the customer. Okay, so free shipping, this is a way to like override all the other shipping settings and all the other deals and discounts and coupons that give away free shipping. This is just, yes, this is a free shipping product. We never charge shipping. Only products where you never charge shipping on this particular product would you set this to yes. Okay, shipping freight. This is another override, product specific, that allows you to say this product ships for this amount of money. It's a nice way to add a handling charge too. You can just say, okay, I want to always charge $10 every time this thing ships. This is where you can plug that in, so you can use this for different things. Use the dimensions of this product for shipping cost calculation. Now, this doesn't always work that well, but you can, bear with me there. I mean, maybe it does work for you, but I have had mixed results with this. Basically, what this does is the Xcart shipping calculation will try to fit this product in a certain box, and I say that with a little bit of confusion in my voice because it doesn't always work and it's very odd, but Xcart will try to figure out how many boxes are going to have to be shipped out for an order. Everything's got to be perfect for it to work that way, and it will actually, quote shipping based on different boxes. Usually this is used with real-time shipping, and we have this link here to check for unavailable shipping methods, because on our different shipping methods we can actually say, this shipping method can only handle boxes of a certain size. So really this only applies to oversized items. If it's the type of item that won't fit in a normal box and it needs, it's really long or something like that, then you need to use this, and Xcart will sort of help you and try to figure out, how we can ship this thing, because it might be difficult. Okay, ship in a separate box. That will force it always to have its own box, and it won't be grouped with other items. And then we can also set the quantity that this can be, how many of this can we fit in one of those separate boxes. All right. Membership, I think you can understand what that is. If you want to restrict this product to only a certain membership class, tax exempt. So in general, everything's set to no. In this cart, we don't have any taxes set up right now, so there's no other options. There would be other options in this section if we did have some taxes, and we would actually be able to assign some taxes to the product. But this tax exempt will just, override taxes for this particular product. Apply global discounts. So that's if you set up some special offers and you set up discounts in other sections of Xcart, if you don't want those to apply, you would uncheck this box. If there's no way for this, you don't want this product to be included with other discount programs you're running, and check the box. Type. This is an extra field, so you can set up, multiple different extra fields in the background of Xcart, and this is just one example of that. So you can assign different things. This could say anything that you want. It doesn't have to be type, and you can just plug in a value for that. And then apply special offer discounts. Okay, it's tied to the global discounts. I'm not really certain when global discounts count and when special offer discounts count, but experimentation there will help you. And then give bonus points. So this is part of the customer reward program. If you want to be able to, assign a certain number of bonus points that they can then use as, to purchase other products. You give somebody 10 bonus points for every $10 they spend or something like that, then it will actually, give bonus points for this product. Woo! All right. So obviously after you've made changes, you want to apply changes at the bottom. This preview button, that works somewhat. It can pull up a look of what it's going to look like on the front side. I don't trust it. I prefer to go up here and actually just click this product URL link and open that in a new window. We can clone the product. So if you have one product set up just the way you want, you can click clone, and it, just like you would imagine, it makes a copy of that. Delete. Delete, self-explanatory, deletes the product. Generate HTML links. Let's look at that for a second. This is interesting. It's not something that I use very often, but if I had another page and I wanted to be able to have a link to the product with an add to cart button, it gives me an image tag that I can just copy and paste and use on a static page or on a blog post or anything like that. And then it gives a simple link to add one product to the cart, and then an advanced link where they can select the quantity and they can see the price and then add to cart. So these are just snippets of HTML code that you can use in other places on your website. In general, you'll never use these, but if you do have a blog or you have somewhere else that you market your products, that might be really useful. Okay. So I don't know how much options and variants I'm going to cover in this, but I just want to point out to you there's also in this section all the way down here we can define wholesale prices, product options, related products. We have the detailed images. That's something that a lot of people are going to probably want to do. Here's where we can browse and add detailed images, so larger pictures, and these stack up underneath the main image on the product page. So you can add as many detailed images as you want, and each one of them can have their own alt text, which is kind of another little SEO thing that kind of helps boost your SEO. If you put descriptive alternative text for your image, then screen readers that can't see, that's what they read to understand what that image is. It's also important what you name your images. So that's another thing. So there's this images for X magnifier. X magnifier is an old module. It's still in here. There's probably a lot of work that went into it. It's just a piece of junk, and I don't recommend you using it at all. All right. Let me talk about related products for just a second. This is where I can link other products to this product. So say the product is an iPhone, and I want to also link the iPhone case and the iPhone charger and all the different products that I want to market on the product page as well. So the main product is the iPhone. Then down below, depending on your template, it will actually show the related products. It lets you have, as it says, cross-selling links, and you can define, a bidirectional link. And this is a very familiar interface here. You click browse. You actually click the category of the product that you want to show the products from. Then you click on the product and you hit select. And now it's not added it yet. It's just added it to this field, and you click the add button to actually create, to actually add that. We'll go ahead and do that. And once you click the add button, you don't have to go back and apply changes on the other page. It's added. It's done. And then you can select it and delete selected, position it, all of that good stuff. Okay, so this tutorial is running really long. We're at 41 minutes according to my counter. But we're going to go over orders. Let's imagine that you've created your categories, your products, your manufacturers, and you are now getting orders. How do you deal with that? So let's look at orders. And we have this month's orders. And that's just, the orders from this month. Search for orders. We can create a new order so that we can manually put an order in. Then we can manage returns. Not going to cover that. Gift certificates. Not going to cover that. Let's just look at search for orders, because this is what I think most people are doing. And you can select a date range. And you have plenty of more, drill down search options where you can select particular products, particular regions, addresses, all of that stuff. But in general, if you just want to see all the products, you just have all dates selected and you click search. Okay, so here we're looking at all the orders that have come in. And, I think the most important thing is the order status. So this displays, all the orders that have come in on the front side. Somebody added to their cart. They went through the checkout process. They either registered or they used an anonymous account, if you have anonymous accounts enabled. Either way, they had to put in all their pertinent information, where their shipping address and all of that in order to be able to check out. But the status, I think, is the most important, because that lets you know, whether the order is paid, or if it's just queued up waiting payment, or if it failed or declined or what happened. So let's look at the different options under there. So we have not finished. That typically means that they actually went through the checkout process and they clicked, and maybe they were redirected to PayPal or some other gateway where they were supposed to put in their credit card number, and they didn't do it. So they didn't finish. Then the order status shows up as not finished. Queued, that usually means that they selected an offline payment method. So queued would be, they selected phone ordering. Maybe if you have that payment method enabled and there's a way for people to just, place an order and they're going to pay later by check, or they're going to call in with the credit card or anything like that, that would be queued. Okay? Processed, that's the status that we want. That means that, they actually finished paying and they're done, and you don't have to worry about collecting payment from them. You're ready to ship that order when it's processed. It means it's been paid, essentially. And obviously you can manually select these different statuses and click update. So, if something came in queued and then you got a check, then you can go back and you can select processed and hit update. And when you do that, it will actually go through all the things that happen when an order is processed. So, when an order is queued, if you have it set up in your admin for it to send, initial placed orders, it'll send an invoice to the customer and they'll know they have to pay that invoice. When it's processed, they get a receipt, and the receipt comes to their email. So if they go through and with one step, place the order, and, process it, go ahead and pay for it, which is what we all want. Hopefully all your orders come in processed. That's what I'm hoping for you. Then they're done. That order is finished and they've received their email saying, thank you for your payment. And you can have, a message on there that says, we'll ship it soon. Now, back ordered, that's, if it's out of stock, I don't see, back ordered coming in as a status very often. I think that's mainly something that an admin would set. You would set this to back ordered if you found out later after the order had been placed that we didn't have it in stock and you had to set it to back ordered. Declined, that means that the credit card, the gateway, whatever way you're using to process their online payment method, it failed because lack of funds. Now failed, declined and failed are very similar. Failed could mean, that for maybe your gateway literally failed. There was actually some kind of problem. So it's not declined, it's just failed. And I'll mention this for 1 second. When you have an order that's been queued, the stock, the inventory has actually been already pulled out and reserved for that order. So rather than just like deleting orders that are queued or, that have not gone through, you want to set them to failed and update the status down here at the bottom before you delete them. Okay? The last status on the list is complete. Now complete, I usually use for shipped. So when I get an order and it's processed, it's paid, I pack the order, I ship the order, and then I mark the order as complete. So that's kind of your checklist. Yep, that one is totally done. We've satisfied the customer and we've shipped them their product. The order is complete. Okay, so let's go in and look at one order in particular. So here we can see, all the information about a particular order. Oh, maybe I've picked on a bad one. Let's look at this one right here. Okay, so we can see what the SKU number is, the provider. Here's all the products that were ordered. The payment method, in this case they use PayPal, and we've renamed PayPal to debit or credit card or PayPal. The delivery method, in this case it was UPS, which is a manually configured method in this particular cart. The subtotal, the discount, coupon saving, the shipping cost, and the total. All pretty self-explanatory. Here's the customer info, and we've got the billing address, shipping address, and we can click show on map for all that. Down here at the bottom, we can set the status to processed. It already is processed here. We can set it back to whatever status we need it to be. And we have the payment gateway logged. We got an approved, accepted transaction with a transaction ID. Here we can put in the tracking number. So, not real sure exactly how this works, but I believe if you set the tracking number, it can be set to notify the customer. At the very least, it shows up on the invoice for the customer to be able to come into their account and see the tracking number. We have the IP address that the order originated, and then we have two sets of notes. So we have notes that we can that we got from the customer. Excuse me. No, yeah, down here we have the, I confused myself because it's up here. Here we have the notes that we got from the customer. So when the customer is placing the order, they usually have an option there for a box where they can put in some special information and say, oh, here's my notes, please send it to, pack it with care, whatever they want to say. And then, here we have the order details. So these are like things that have happened to the order. In this case, there's nothing here. We can edit. And we can type stuff in, view mode. So this is not visible to the customer. or the provider, which is confusing to you guys that are running XCart Gold. That only applies to XCart Platinum and when you're dealing with a mall. And then the order note's not visible to customer. So here you can actually type a message back to the customer, and it'll show up on their invoice. Which whether that's going to be sent again to them is kind of questionable. If the status changes, they'll get another copy of the invoice. So if you're setting it to complete, it's like you can answer back, yes, we packed your shipment with care, and they'll see that right on the invoice. Or there's the order notes that's not visible to customer. This is like specifically to your staff. Okay? And then, down here we can create a return request. This anti-fraud check report, don't even worry about it unless you're paying for the anti-fraud service. That's more of just trying to, get you to sign up for the anti-fraud service. Any special offers that got applied. At this point, I'm just reading it and explaining it to you. There's not really anything here that's critical. We can create a return request. Let's get on to how we can print a copy of the invoice. We click Print Receipt. And here is a copy of the invoice. So this is just one invoice at a time. And in this case, we've actually, customized this for the client. They sell prescription glasses. So this is like an image that they could have uploaded and some prescription information that they could have put in. They can name their prescription. So that's not, in most cases, out there. But here's the standard receipt. And it says receipt at the top because this order has been processed. So it would say invoice if it was just queued. But at this point, it's processed and it says receipt. Okay, well, what if we wanted to print multiple invoices? I'm running almost up on an hour here, and I'm really wanting to wrap this up. But here we can look and we can search for orders. And let's say we wanted to print multiple orders at once. We can check the ones we want and just go down. You can even hit check all. And then you can select invoices for selected, and it will show all the orders that you selected, just like that. Okay? And then we also have this quick labels for selected. So I can click quick labels for selected, and it's going to, very rudimentarily print the shipping labels for each one of these orders. Okay, so this is just something that you'd have to have your printer configured to accept this size. And this is the kind of thing that I can do where I can customize, how does this label print for you? What do you need done there? Okay, obviously we can delete orders and we can export orders. That's the last thing I'm going to probably go over is how can we get some of the captured customer email information, user information, order information back out of XCart. Now, I recommend that you do most of your, customer management right inside XCart, but sometimes you need to have more. So you can actually pull up a list of orders, and you can export all found. So I can do a search on the first page and set a date range, set whatever I'd want, and then hit search. And then I can go and export all found. Or I can select a range and export selected. And we have a few different options here. Comma delimiter, tab delimiter, semicolon delimiter. That's just going to depend. I think comma is going to be the most commonly used for most people. And so that would actually export all the order information, and we would get some information on the customer. Let's see what we get. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to select a few orders here, and we are going to click Export All Found, or Export Selected. And it takes us to my Export Data page. I do like to choose comma as the delimiter. Do I wish to export images? No. Here we have some data queued up. This is a pretty confusing thing. This same form is used for exporting all these different things: membership, states, users, address books, all these different things. I am going to just export the orders and the order items. Okay, let's do that. Here comes the data. It is going to update, and then I get an export pack right down here at the bottom, and it's in a CSV format, and I can just click that. It's downloading. I'm going to open it up. It's probably going to come up in Excel. Here it is. and then I can see all the information I need. So here's their login. So here's the email address. Over and over, it's just me placing orders. The date of the order. Here's the order items. You can associate that back up to the order ID. So it's all pretty self-explanatory. There's a lot more data here than you probably need. But, it's got everything. It's got the billing address, shipping address, first and last name. Anything you can imagine, pretty much, you get in that order export. All right. I think we've come full circle here. And hopefully this has been helpful for you in getting familiar with the backside of Xcart. Sorry it's so long, but there's a lot to cover. So hopefully I've covered every questions that you might have. If you ever need any help with Xcart or you need some customizations, you can contact me, and you can just send me an email to mike@babymonkeystudios.com. We're known as Baby Monkey Studios. We're also the Xcart Gurus, so we kind of are in transition there with the name of the company. Or you can also just give me a call. Pick up the phone and call me at 502-773-6454. Mike White, signing off, wishing you the best of luck in all your e-commerce efforts. Talk to you soon.